Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into an analysis that sees recent political events in the Philippines not just as news, but as a carefully staged performance. And the grand prize? Well, that would be the 2028 presidential election. Okay, so the source material we're looking at kicks things off with this really powerful quote. It kind of sets the stage, right? It's framing everything we're about to see not just as politics as usual, but as a high-stakes drama about ambition and, well, survival. So let's get into Section 1. A political play unfolds. The whole analysis really starts with one core idea, that a recent rally defending former President Duterte, well, it wasn't actually about him at all. Right. So the argument here is that the event's real purpose was to launch a brand new political narrative for Vice President Sara Duterte. The suggestion is that she wasn't just traveling to defend her father's past, she was flying straight into her own political future. Now this is where it gets interesting. The analysis actually frames the key political figures like characters in a play. You've got Sara Duterte, cast as the misunderstood daughter. Then there's Rodrigo Duterte, the tragic hero father. And rounding out the cast is President Bongbong Marcos, positioned here as the scheming villain who, in this story, betrayed the family. And at the very heart of this whole performance is a really serious accusation of an international conspiracy. According to the source, a story is being built that claims President Marcos Jr. teamed up with the ICC. It's a tale, as the analysis puts it, of a fabricated betrayal. Okay, Section 2, crafting the narrative. So if that's the story, how exactly is it being told? Well, the analysis breaks down the specific arguments being used to try and reshape public opinion on the ICC case. So the analysis points to this as a really key piece of messaging. The idea is, by focusing on the much smaller number of formal charges, you kind of obscure the bigger picture, that estimated total number of casualties. It's a way to create doubt about the whole case. But the source notes the ICC often uses a smaller number of sample cases to prove a systemic pattern, not to account for every single death. And then there's this quote. The author highlights this as the real pivot point of the whole narrative. It's a really powerful attempt to recast the former president from an alleged perpetrator into a patriotic victim who's being punished just for serving his country. So the crucial point the author is making here is that this isn't just a legal defense strategy. No, it's an attempt to wrap a personal legacy in the national flag. Turning a pro-sovereignty argument into a shield against accountability. Now for Section 3. An alliance breaks. As you can probably guess, this new narrative, according to the source, leads directly to the total collapse of the once powerful Marcos Duterte political team-up. This statement right here is identified by the article as a direct, and not very subtle, character assassination of President Marcos Jr. It's seen as an attempt to completely dismantle his core political brand as this measured, pragmatic leader. And this really highlights the alleged strategy. By painting the president as weak and scheming, the analysis says the vice president is positioning herself as the complete opposite, an authentic, strong, no-nonsense leader. It's all about creating that contrast. All right, Section 4, the 2028 gambit. So the source argues this whole performance isn't just about one thing. It has a dual purpose. It's designed to fight immediate political battles while also keeping an eye on that long-term prize, the presidency. The author calls this a preemptive strike. You see, with a potential impeachment trial on the horizon, the strategy is to discredit all the institutions and processes before they can even pass judgment. It's about creating a political alibi by just flooding the zone with noise, hoping people start to doubt everything. And now for our final section, the final act. So what's the potential fallout from all this? The analysis wraps up by looking at the major risks of such a high-stakes strategy. The author suggests that while this approach might fire up a core base, it could also backfire, big time. It risks pushing away those crucial moderate voters, it could damage credibility on the world stage, and it basically ties her entire 2028 campaign to the outcome of her father's legal fights. That's a huge gamble. Ultimately, the source frames the entire Hague event as what's called a trial balloon. It was a test, really. A test to see if the base is still loyal, a test to see if institutions can still be bullied, and maybe most importantly, a test to see if this new story of victimhood and betrayal will actually fly with the voters.
And the analysis leaves us with this final, very provocative question. It's really challenging the audience to think about the power of these political narratives. And, having seen this kind of playbook before, will the ending be any different this time? It all comes down to whether people believe the drama.